research process, and in research process it is problem identification, to identify the problem. So research process, problem identification. Now the question arises as to what is this problem, what is this research problem. See, when you are doing research, so what you are trying to do, you are trying to find out something about this. I had told in the previous, in the first class only, what is the meaning of research. So when you are trying to do research, what you are trying to do, you are trying to find out something. And that means you are trying to solve certain problems because those problems exist. So you are trying to do research because you are trying to find solution to those problems which are existing through various ways. So by definition, what do we mean by research problem? So it is some difficulty which a researcher experiences and he wants to obtain a solution for the same. And then while finding the solution, what kind of solution? So it is where he tries to find out the best solution for the given problem. Whatever the problem is, he tries to find out the best solution for that. How can he find out the best solution? Of course, to find out the best solution, there are various methodologies, there are various researches, there are various ways in which he will have to approach that research problem. Now, there are various types of research problem. Basically, we have these four types. What are the types? That is casuist research problem, difference, descriptive, and relational research problem. Now, let me explain what are these. So, the first thing has been, it is clear that what is research problem. So, it is some difficulty which the researcher his aim is to solve that difficulty through finding a solution, the best solution. That is the research problem. So these are the various types of problem. So as you are seeing, the casuist, what this is, in very layman's language, this is determination of right and wrong in questions of conduct or conscience. So what this is actually, this type of problem, this casuist problem, this relates to the determination of right and wrong. By how can you determine whether it is right or whether it is wrong? Because this conduct and conscience, these words are coming. So this can be determined by analyzing the moral dilemmas which a researcher might face while he is doing his research. Next is the difference research problem. So when we say difference, that means what? There is a thing of comparing. When we compare between two or more phenomena, then we can come with the difference. When we study, when we compare between two or more phenomena, then only we can come out with a comparing, and then only when we can come out with a comparing, then only we can do what? We can have a, we can understand the difference between that thing. So this is more common. This kind of difference research problem is more common where in clinical social science or behavioral science. So when a researcher is from the clinical social science or behavioral science, then he tries to adopt this kind of research problem where he has to compare between two or more phenomena to find out the difference between those. Then comes the descriptive research problem. So when we describe what we do, it describes the significance of a situation, state, etc. So this is more associated with revealing the hidden issues or the understudied issues. When they study about the significance of a certain situation, etc., then the underlying issues, the hidden issues are also comes to the forefront, and that is described through this research problem. Then comes the relational research problem. Again, when we speak of relation, relation cannot be made between just with one individual. When we say relation, just in layman's language, it must be between more than one. For example, here we are having a relation between a teacher and the student. So I can't have a relation within myself. You can't have a relation with a single you. That is not possible. So when it is a relation, that means two or more variables are present in that situation. So in this a relational research problem, this is a relation, it studies the relationship between two or more research problems or two or more research variables. Now, why this is done? The purpose is to investigate what are the qualities of these variables, of each of these variables. What are the characteristics of these variables? Are they connected in some sort of a way? So, for that, we find a relational research problem. Next, we see how can we select the problem. Now, for selecting the problem, these are the 5 steps in which we can select the problem. So, for what the first thing while selecting the problem is that the subject which is overdone should not be normally chosen, for it will be very difficult task to throw any new light in such a case. Like if you take some subject in which a lot of research has already been done, in that means all the problems in that particular research has already been researched out, then what new thing will you be doing? You will be actually doing what the others have already done. So you cannot do anything except replicating whatever the others people have done. So you should not take something which has been done many times. The second one is controversial subjects should not be chosen. Now, this should be kept in mind because you cannot prove a controversial subject, and that will result into a number of problems when you try to choose a controversial subject. The third is too narrow or too vague problems should be avoided. Why? Because that is not of a major concern to research or society. If you just try to do a very narrow and vague problem, then maybe you will be doing your research very quickly, but that does not solve the main essence of the main requirement of research. So, and research or society is no way will be benefited from that narrow or vague problem. Next is subject selected for research should be familiar and feasible. Why? So that the research material is within one's reach. Supposing it is not familiar, it is not feasible, then how will you do your research? So the research materials, the data, etc., should be within one's reach. So for this purpose, it is always recommended that the researcher, he should always contact an expert or a subject expert in that, and also do a lot of literature survey, literature review. That is very much important. Next is the importance of the subject, the qualifications, the training, etc. These are a few criteria that must be considered while you are selecting a problem. And the last one is the selection of a problem must be preceded by a preliminary study. Why this is important? Why you must do a preliminary study before you actually narrow down upon a particular problem? Because you must know by the preliminary study what are the available techniques, what are the information, whether the study is actually feasible or not. So you need to see these things before actually going through that, before selecting the problem. Now, the next is identification of a problem. Now, when we say identification, what that is? So, that is the identification of a problem is the analysis of a research problem. So, this is the analysis is the first and the most crucial step. Analysis, the identification and analysis of a research problem is the first and the most crucial step of research process. Now, why this is so? Because these days, many research scholars, they think that when you just identify a problem, that means you have selected a topic. But that is a wrong thing. Topic selection and identification of problem, these are two separate things. So generally, the what is done is that it is seen that researchers that select the topic of the study from various sources, but it is generally seen that they do not actually identify a problem. But generally, what should be done is that a problem must be identified based on the topic. Now, when he ignores that, when he does not identify a problem based on his research and he thinks that both of them are same, then when he ignores that, the researcher then has no involvement in his research activities. Many a times these days researchers does that just to get the degree. So that is not the way how a research must be done. So for the identification of a problem, these are some of the steps for identification of a problem. The first step being determining the field of research in which a researcher is keen to do the research work. The second step should be the researcher should develop the mastery on the area, or it should be the field of his specialization. If it is not his field of specialization, then he will falter at every step. He won't know the methodology. Third is that he should review the researches. Now, literature review is one of the most important thing when you are trying to do a research, because so that the researcher knows what has been done, what needs to be done, what are the problems, and what are the fresh problems from his point of view. Next being, on the basis of review, literature review that is, he should consider the priority field of the study. Then he should draw an analogy and insight in identifying a problem. And the last being, he should pinpoint specific aspect of the problem. It should not be a vague problem, wide problems, that there are a number of problems. This is that is not generally that is not how a research is done. He must pinpoint exactly certain aspects which are his problem zones, which needs to be investigated. Now, what are the various sources of problems? The first source will be personal experience of the investigator. So this is the main source. That is because many of the problems that we confront, or that the researcher confronts, are in his personal space. So that personal space may be his classroom, his community, his society, etc. So they help in investigation more. So when because these comes out from his personal experience. Next being extensive study of literature or literature review. So when that is done, so that literature may be through research abstracts, through journals, through handbooks, etc. So he can easily draw some parallel problem when he goes through this literature review. So that is why it is very much essential. That is why when a researcher wants to do a research under some guide, at first he is said that to do some literature review. That is the first step. Then he must decide his field of investigation. Why? He should study the field intensively in the specified area. When he has studied his field intensively, then only he will be able to identify a problem. And the last is he must consult some supervisors, some experts in that field. Why? Because, and actually this is the most significant source of problem, because he can discuss with them various issues regarding that area, regarding the area in which he wants to do his research. By area, I do not mean geographical area. By area, I mean to say regarding the aspects he wants to do research. So for that, he should consult the experts already who have been working in that area. So these are the various techniques which are involved in defining a problem. The first is statement of problem. So, so that is what, while statement of the problem is done, it must be kept in mind the practical and the scientific aspect, the practical and the scientific interest. Now, when that is also done, but in case of social science, generally what is done is that in social science, we do not always go for science or empirical data, etc. But what is done in social science is that it is always good to do some field observation. Like we in geography, we belong to social science. So we have to do field observations. That is very much essential for the statement of the problem. And some sort of preliminary survey. This kind of survey in social science is called pilot survey. So this is very much essential. This is a technique for statement of the problem. The next being understanding the nature of problem. So to do that, you must discuss it. With whom? You must discuss this with those who had first raised this. Why you must discuss it? In order to find out what were the original problems which were there, what were the objectives which were taken originally. So you have to understand those things to understand the nature of the problem. The third being surveying the available literature. So this is very much essential. That, like I have been saying, literature review is very much essential because through literature reviews, what you do, these are useful for indicating what are the type of difficulties that a researcher may encounter in the present study. What are the various shortcomings? So when he knows these things beforehand, what are the various difficulties, etc., the shortcomings, etc., then he will have a definite approach towards that. He will be well prepared to try to solve his problem. The next being developing the ideas through discussion. So while you try to develop the ideas through discussion, obviously that will be done through the various experts already in that field. And for that, you have to do some experience survey. The next being rephrasing the research problem into a working proposition. Now, what is rephrasing? So, rephrasing the problem will be what? It will be phrasing it into more analytical or operational terms. So, what is actually done through rephrasing? The researcher, he puts the research into some definite points, not some vague points, as I was saying before, into some definite points. And these definite points, when he does, these helps in the development of hypothesis. Now, what is hypothesis? I have said in the previous class itself. So when he rephrases it into some specific definite points, then it helps in the development of hypothesis. When hypothesis is developed, then he can take specific approaches towards his research. So these are the various techniques involved in defining a problem. So next, let us see what are the criteria that should be adopted for selection of the problem. Now these criteria, there may be various criteria, but these criteria has been given by Goods and Skates. So according to them, so what are the criteria? First being, it must be a novel problem. And there must be, the researcher must avoid unnecessary duplications. If it is not a novel problem, that means you are actually duplicating others' works. So that is research plagiarism. Next is, what is its importance for the field represented and its implementation? Third being, is it driving any interest or intellectual curiosity? Fourth being, does it require any training and personal qualifications? Because if it does, there is no research which can be done without any sort of qualifications or without any sort of training. So what sort of training or personal qualifications are required for doing that specific research? So is the data available when you are trying to do some research? Is the data available, or is the methodology known to the researcher? Now, if a social science person wants to do research in pure science, then obviously we won't be knowing the methodology, and same is vice versa. So what are the special equipments and working conditions that is required to run it? Is administrative cooperation available? Because there are various kinds of researches which requires administrative cooperation. For example, if you want to do, for example, upon springs, or you want to do upon landslides on a particular area, then you need to have administrative cooperation from that particular zone, where you are doing your research. So administrative cooperation is a must. Is there any hazards or penalties or handicaps that is involved? Because obviously we do not want these things while undertaking a research. What are the cost and return factors? It should not be that the cost is much more than what we are getting in return. What is the time factor? Now, as a general rule, the minimum amount of time that is taken for a master's degree is 2 years, and when a person is doing for his doctoral degree, it is 3 to 5 years. So, these things must be kept in mind while selecting the problem. Now, judging the merits of the problem. So, the following questions may be raised for this purpose to understand the merit of a problem. Is the problem really important? Is the chosen problem a real problem, or you are doing it just for the sake of the degree? Is the problem interesting to others? Will your research drive curiosity, interest among the other researchers so that they might also start working on it later on at a later stage by studying your review of literature? Does the problem display any originality, any novelty, or it is just a copy paste thing which you are doing from others? Am I really concerned with finding the solution, or is it that I am just doing it for the sake of just getting a degree? Am I able to state the hypothesis from the problem in a testable form? Will I learn something new from this problem? Because when you are trying to do research, as said in the first lecture itself, you are trying to search out something new. You are trying to search out some problem. So, will I learn something new from this problem? Do I understand the relationship of this specific problem to the broader problem area? Will I be able to select a sample from which I can generalize to some population? Because you cannot work on the whole population. You need to find out a sample population. So, will I be able to find out the sample population? Is the study or including the application is practical, or it is just some vague ideas? So, will I be getting the information which I want, or I am just working, I am just putting my labor to vain? And some other person be able to replicate the study? Replicate the study means will some other person be able to carry forward your research? So this is the diagram how a problem situation and how the problem statement comes. So first of all, there is a problematic situation. We then divide that situation into two parts. First, the facts about the problems and the explanation of each and every facts. So there is a relationship between each facts and its explanation. When this is the preliminary list of constituents. So when we try to do this, then we will find out there are various constituents which are irrelevant, which are not what we are trying to find out, which are not what the research topic is, which is not the objective of the research. So we will find out that there are various irrelevant constituents. So we remove this, and then we make a list of the relevant constituents. When we do that, we then divide it again into certain facts, facts which can be verified and facts which cannot be verified, which can be guessed, which can be suspected. These are the facts which cannot be verified. So, based on the facts which can be verified, we have some explanations which can be verified empirically, and the facts which cannot be verified. So, based upon that, we have some sorts of explanations which we can suspect or predict, etc. So, based upon all these things, the constituents, the facts, the explanations, etc., we come up with the problem statement, and then we work on this for our research. So, this is all about research process, and in research process, this is all about research problems.